My ways are not your ways. That is what is said in the Bible. My ways are past finding out. We often say God works in mysterious ways. Now, if we want to manifest effectively, then we have to learn how to think like God and think from His perspective. The problem arises many times because we think like a human being. And as long as we think like we do, we're going to continue to get the same results. We are often stuck in the realm of the five senses. We judge based off appearances. And this is another theme that comes up in the Bible a lot. Do not judge off of appearances. We're supposed to walk spiritually and understand things spiritually. But being a human being living on earth, we go through things and we experience life through our sense organs, our five senses. We tend to lean towards the realistic way of thinking, very practical, very logical. Anybody who was anybody always thought on a different level. Superhuman, you can say. And what set them apart was them using their imagination, thinking from a different perspective, not looking at what is possible physically, but saying all things are possible, even the seemingly impossible. In order to understand God and how He creates, there is a little bit of insight that comes in the book of John, which says that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. So it is the Word that creates. In other words, that is your word. What is it that you think about things? How do you perceive the world? That is what matters the most. Do you see obstacles in front of you, or do you see past them? If you live your life thinking that you're no good, that you can't do things, or you put conditions and reasons as to why you can't, then it is possible that you will never achieve the thing you want because you put reasons as to why you can't achieve them. Another secret to how God thinks is that He doesn't need a reason to create anything. If God needed a reason to create anything, then this implies that He is missing something. But just like how we say God doesn't exist, He simply is. God doesn't create because of any reason. He just creates because He does. And this is the mystery of God. He simply is, and He just does things, and He will always do them. And He will always continue to just do that. So when it comes to manifesting in our lives, it's not a matter of what is the reason or why or how, because those are not even questions we should ask. It simply is. If you want money, why not? It simply is, and it should be for you. If you want health, that simply should just be as well. If you want anything, if you want a relationship, that should also just be. Then once you start putting yourself in this perspective of thought, things start to happen to you. You're going to start thinking different. You're going to want to do different things that will align you to what you would actually want to do. If you want to make more money and you see yourself with money, then you start thinking from that perspective, and then your mind changes and it will attract that to you. And this goes along any line of desire or outcome that you want for yourself. God is not a human being. He doesn't think like we do. There's no need to overemphasize on how something is going to be done or stress out overthinking about anything. When God creates, He simply does, always. And He doesn't question how things are going to be done. They just are. And that's the mentality that we are building. We are changing our state of consciousness into the now, where everything is finished and everything is complete. So once we align ourselves with this consciousness, it becomes much easier to manifest. It becomes much easier to achieve things in your life. Now your mind is working with you and not against you. You're not thinking from your human standpoint. You're thinking from your higher mind, your highest mind. It is said in the Bible as well, I can of myself do nothing. This one always makes me laugh, and this one's funny to me because this one always implies that you can't do anything. What this is saying is physically sometimes you can't do anything, but in your mind you can always do something. And this is what you are doing. You are dwelling in the end. You are thinking from your desired outcome, and you're not just thinking about it. You are there. And then when you are there, your body will then catch up to that. The physical reality has to match what you are thinking from. That is the higher state of consciousness. We are all made in the image of God, and that simply means that we have that aspect within us. We just need to become aware of it. We need to be conscious of it, because we cannot become anything unless we become conscious or aware of it. That's like having lots of money in your bank account, but you don't know your PIN number. It's the same thing. You don't actually lose any power. It's still there. It's inside of you. The problem is that you forgot about it, or maybe you never even knew about it to begin with. But it all starts with those realizations. It comes with switching your mindset, thinking from the perspective of God, thinking from your higher self. It all dwells within you. And you don't have to go far. It's something free. It is freely given, and it is available at any time. Consciousness creates reality, and this includes physical reality. So your consciousness is always creating. So become aware of what you are creating inside of yourself. Be aware of what's in there, because all it is yourself pushed out. So to understand how this works, we have to understand the higher and the lower mind. Typically, we are in the lower mind. This is the realm of physical reality. When it comes to our higher mind, this is the realm of spirituality, things we cannot experience physically. They are opposite of each other, but one and the same. All physical reality is spirit crystallized into something solid. So it is one and the same. Now, typically as people, as human beings living here, using our 5 sense organs, we're caught up in the lower mind because we identify mostly with these. This is reality to us, and this is the lower centers of reality. And just because it's lower doesn't mean it's any less real than spirit. It's just a manner of speaking. It is very real to our sense body. But above that is another world. The spirit world, you can call it. But this is the higher mind, thinking from a spiritual perspective, knowing that all things come from spirit. And in the lower mind also exists anxiety, fears, doubt, guilt, and anything that weighs you down. In the higher mind dwells happiness, joy, peace, love, and anything that lifts you up and makes you feel light. So it's important to dwell in the higher mind, because this is where God lives. It is said he lives in heaven, and this is opposite from the lower mind, which descends down into hell, or your heel, in other words. So just like God dwells in you, Satan also dwells in you. He's the one that puts doubts in your ear. He's the one that tells you what's possible and what's not. That little voice in your ear that says, you can't have money because you're not smart enough. You can't have a relationship because you're not compassionate enough. You cannot be healthy because you don't eat well enough. You don't do this enough and you're not good enough, period. That's what the lower mind is. But to think like God simply means to accept what is already and accept those gifts not because you necessarily deserve it or because there's a reason or anything like that. It is freely given, and that's what grace is. You have the grace of God, which is freely given for no reason, just because you are loved by God. So he gives you everything freely. So there's no need to wonder how, why, I'm not good enough, because to God you are good enough. So to yourself, you should be good enough to receive anything in your life. And that is the reality. That is thinking like God, or thinking from the perspective that he has for you. To receive all those good things simply because you already deserve them. You already have them. And it is all complete and it is all finished. Satan, or that little voice in your head that says you're not good enough, is simply a deception. So it's important to push that away, push away our human senses sometimes, and believe in the impossible. Believe that we have all these things right now, and this is the secret, and this is how you think from the perspective of God, or your highest self, your highest ideals, and that state in which you can achieve once you start thinking from there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave any comments in the comment section below. Like this video and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.